Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
How's it going?
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, you go, Skip. Go.
I just wanted to say, Carrie, and I think Stephen A. would second this emotion. What a great weekend celebrating the great game of NBA basketball it was in the greatest city, New York City.
I will acknowledge that a miracle took place because considering how depressed myself and a bunch of New Yorkers were and are about our New York Knicks, to think that the weekend could be so spectacular, it was unpredictable. It wasn't unexpected, rather, but that's what happened. It was a beautiful weekend, I must admit. The NBA did its job.
It was a beautiful weekend, the mecca of basketball. Well, if you watch at home or if you had the pleasure of attending any of the NBA All-Star festivities, you knew it was a great weekend, as Stephen A. just mentioned. On the show today, former Bruin, now a Timberwolf, Zach LaVine. Did he revive the dunk contest? We talk about it. Plus, Kevin Durant takes a page from Marshawn Lynch and says he really doesn't like speaking to the media. More on that in just a few moments. But first, we want to remind you, tomorrow and Wednesday, First Take back on the road. This time, North Carolina. Tuesday at UNC. Wednesday at Duke. Join us live. We'll have special guests and, of course, free giveaways. We'll see you then. But up first, another Bruin. Russell Westbrook, day in and day out, continues to show he's a superstar. This time it was on display at the All-Star Game. Westbrook scored 41 points, just one shy of tying Wilt Chamberlain's All-Star record. He also set a record for first-half points.
I mean, it's a blessing, definitely, to be able to play in an All-Star game and definitely come home with the MVP, man. I'm just happy and honored to be able to play on the court with a group of guys that's going to be, some future Hall of Famers and just having some fun.
Westbrook went on to say that he was just happy to be a part of the All-Star game. He didn't go on with any plan. He just wanted to play well. I believe it was well-deserved. Skip, your take on Westbrook. Did he deserve the MVP?
Stephen A. Smith. No, Russell Westbrook did not deserve the MVP. Now, look, if you are easily amused and easily wowed by point totals, you're going to sit back and say, oh, my God, Russell Westbrook scored 41 points, just one off the all-time All-Star record by Wilt Chamberlain. If you're willing to do that, I say fine. Go ahead and crown Russell. Give him the trophy. But if you are willing to look just one level deeper, which often people aren't in All-Star games, I think you will see that James Harden played the better all-around basketball game and had more to do with the West winning. James Harden scored 29 points last night by hitting 11 of only 16 shots. That included 7 of 12 three-pointers by James Harden. Do you realize that Russell Westbrook took 12 more shots than any other teammate? And he got 10 of his points off easy, wide-open slam dunks. James Harden also had 8 rebounds and 8 assists. And the quote-unquote point guard that is Russell Westbrook had all of 1 assist, which came in the fourth quarter on a deep three from his teammate Kevin Durant, probably the only other player on the floor that Russell would have passed to. James Harden hit the shot of the game last night. Game was tied at 148 all with 4 minutes to go, and James Harden buried the three-pointer that made it 151 to 148 and sent the West on a run that got them the win. So, once again, I can sum it up by using the plus-minus totals. James Harden was a +4 in his minutes on the floor, while Russell Westbrook was only a +2. I'm going to give a slight edge to James Harden for the MVP last night, though I'm anticipating that you and obviously Carrie will disagree.
First of all, your argument would hold mustard to some degree if we were talking about a real game. When you're talking about an exhibition where very little defense is played, where the requirement is to be a bit spectacular and to wow the crowd and to entertain them, not just with your level of production, but your infectious energy, it is clear that Russell Westbrook was head and shoulders above any and all that were on the court with him. That's not to knock James Harden, who played a good game, obviously. That's not to knock Kyle Korver, who hit a string of three-pointers. That's not to knock a LeBron James, who dropped 30 and 7 and probably would have won the MVP award if the East had won the game. But when you look at the way that Russell Westbrook was playing, the energy that he brings, knowing no speed other than 100 miles an hour, when you consider the fact that the Garden was packed, that people came to see an exhibition, that they came to be entertained and what have you, you don't judge, this game as seriously as you would judge a regular season game or a playoff game for that matter or what have you. Again, very little defense was played. It wasn't that physical. We all understand that it's really not until the fourth quarter when the game is tight that people are really going all out. And even then, to some degree, that's not the case. Plays aren't necessarily being run ad nauseum. All of these things that transpire during a game that counts, that you would judge accordingly, doesn't apply to an exhibition game. And because it doesn't apply to an exhibition game, there's no reason on earth for you to judge it as such. It was an exhibition game. You don't see, what was it, Ariana Grande, her performing at halftime. I thought she did a really, really good job, by the way. Queen Latifah tore the house down with the singing of the national anthem, as far as I'm concerned, just sultry and smooth. It was a beautiful performance on her part. I'm really proud of her. But you don't see all of those kind of things during a regular, typical game that counts, whether it be the regular season or the postseason. It's an exhibition, Skip Bayless. And from an exhibition perspective, Russell Westbrook put on a show and obviously deserved the All-Star Game MVP award. Only you would disagree with that, but I'm not surprised in the least. I'm not surprised at all by your position.
Well, so silly me, you are criticizing me for actually analyzing an all-star game as a basketball game. Is that what you're saying?
I'm criticizing you for analyzing an all-star game like it's a regular season or playoff game. It's clearly a basketball game. We all know that. They weren't on a court inside Madison Square Garden playing football or wiffle ball or something. They were playing basketball. But it was more the likes of an exhibition than a real game. And so as a result of that, the wow factor, the excitement, the energy, and all of that stuff comes into consideration as opposed to just your stats or how Skip would dissect it. You're treating this like this was San Antonio versus Oklahoma City in the conference finals or something. That's ridiculous. It's an exhibition game. Calm down.
And by the way, San Antonio won in 6 last year at Oklahoma City. Thank you for bringing that up. So, big picture,
like
Stephen A. Smith. I'll piggyback your reference. I thought Ariana Grande took over the halftime show the way Russell took over the game. It was just a little too much Ariana. I thought she went on too long, and I thought Russell shot way too much for my taste. I wanted the ball spread around a little bit. Come on. 12 more shots than any other teammate? 28 shots in an all-star game? Are you kidding me? It's just too much for me. You talk about energy, and I'm talking about it's selfish energy. Like, maybe that is the perfect stage for Russell because he can just do whatever he wants and shoot it as many times as he wants.
The man hit 11 of his first 15 shots. That's number one. He was clearly hot. That's number two. He was running up and down the court, which is something to be said for effort, because usually in exhibition-style settings, you don't see that kind of effort from athletes, but he brings it all the time, so he deserved credit for that as well. And as far as Ariana Grande is concerned, I thought she was very, very good, very impressive. I didn't like the outfit for a 21-year-old. I'm not going to admit, I'm not going to deny that, because I thought she's too young for that, but that's about it. Outside of that, I got no problems with her performance, and I certainly have no problem with Russell Westbrook's performance. But then again, I am entirely different than you. Go figure.
Mm-hmm. My God, Stephen A., what did he miss? Like 5 layups? He could have had like 50 if he just made his layups last night.
Oh, so now it's about what he didn't do as opposed to what he did do. You can't even keep your argument straight. First it was James Harden.
No,
now it's about what he didn't do.
I'm
just
being
stop
objective
it.
here.
Just stop it.
All right.
Please.